What's going down? This is Passion for Truth coming at you with another video, and we're talking about Globers be reaching for the stars. Globers be reaching for the stars. You guys ever notice that today's argument with, or debate, maybe I shouldn't use the word argument because we're not trying to argue, but there is a debate, right? To say that there's not a debate here is just foolish, no matter what side of the fence post that you're on here. There's definitely a debate, but the debate now and the debate back in 2015 to 2016 when Flat Earth was just making waves is completely different. But just kind of, for instance, right, like today, the only argument that you'll ever, after you go through the whole laundry list of supposed proofs that we live on the ball, and you totally dismantle each one by one after the other, and we've kind of got to today where they're clinging to two or three things. Like, if you don't have the answer to like every single question that a Glober has for you, then Earth's a ball. If you don't have an answer to that, Earth's a ball. Like, for instance, the only thing that they cling to today really is Flat Earthers don't have a model, right? You hear that all the time. Where's your model? Where's your model, bro? Where is your model? Oh, you don't have a model? Earth's a ball. It doesn't matter like how many things we've debunked and proven, only works on a flat Earth. You know what I'm saying? We can literally debunk 99% of these problems, but if they run into one question that they don't have like a direct answer for, or like an elevator pitch answer for, a 20-second explanation, then Earth's a ball. It's got to be a ball, because you don't have a model. You kidding me? Earth's a ball. What about Southern Star Trails, bro? Southern Star Trails. You got an answer to that? You got an answer to how those work on a flat Earth? Oh, you don't have like a 20-second explanation for that? Earth's a ball. You know what I'm saying? That's literally really it today. Like the Southern Star Trails, the Southern Cross, and we don't have a model. And you'll get this every now and then. Where's the edge, man? If Earth is flat, where's the edge? You don't have pictures of the edge? Earth's a ball. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you can totally dismantle all their arguments one by one. But if you don't have that 20-second explanation, or you don't have a good enough answer for them on one thing out of 100, then Earth's automatically a ball. There can be no other explanation other than Earth's a ball, right? That is the brainwashing and the indoctrination taking place, the cognitive dissonance. But it's like, man, back in 2015, 2016, they had all these supposed proofs, right? And this is like how they have moved the goalpost. That's kind of where I'm gearing at with this video, is to kind of show you how the goalpost has moved from 2015 to now. Like, they had all these arguments back then, and now all they're clinging to is the stars. You'll notice that, like, they always want to point to the stars, and they've got their way more issues with the stars than Flat Earth does. Way more issues. I'm not even going to get into all that, right? That's for another video. But because we don't have like a 20-second explanation or the answer that they're actually looking for, then Earth's automatically a ball. But let's go back to 2015, 2016, and let's just kind of go through time and see how the goalpost has moved, because Flat Earthers have gone out and they've debunked all these proofs, quote unquote, that Globers used to have. For instance, ships over the horizon, right, is really what was one of the go-to proofs that we live on a ball. We've proven that isn't true. We can break out binoculars, or we can break out high zoom cameras, or telescopes. We can do laser tests, mirror tests. We can prove that well, let's just talk about the ships over the horizon. Like, you can zoom in on a ship that appeared to disappear over the horizon today. In other words, we just have the technology today that we didn't many years ago. So that's how we have debunked the ships over the horizon argument. Completely smashed it. There's literally now thousands of videos of us pulling ships back in that should have disappeared over the quote-unquote horizon. To the argument of today, now they're saying that there never was a geometric horizon. Wait, what? You have to have a geometric horizon on a ball. And, 5 years ago, that's what you guys were screaming about. Ships over the horizon. What was it disappearing over if it wasn't a geometric flipping curve? You see what I'm saying? Like, the goalpost has moved there. But what else? They used to talk about photos of Earth from space. We've completely debunked that, because if you Google photos of Earth from space, they're all CGI. They all say images. They don't say photos. They say images because they've all been photoshopped and admitted to be photoshopped by NASA. You can look this stuff up, right? So we've completely debunked that. What about the Coriolis effect? The Coriolis effect and snipers having to factor in the rotation of the Earth. Not true. Not true at all. We completely debunked that, because all snipers have to adjust for is distance and wind. Distance and wind. There's nothing in their manual that ever talks about curvature. Can you imagine being a sniper having to factor in curvature or rotation? I'm sorry. Could you imagine like the time that would take to have to factor all that in? So that's been completely smashed. What about toilets flushing in one direction in the northern hemisphere and another one in the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere? That's not true. You can have two toilets that flush in different directions in your own house, and they run a scam near the equator where they pour water in the drain, and depending on the direction that they pour the water, it literally causes the damn water to spin in a certain direction, and they pull the plug out real quick to keep that rotation. In other words, they're taking advantage of really gullible, ignorant people with a scam. That has been proven. So, and what about, hurricanes spinning in one direction in the northern hemisphere and in the opposite direction in the southern hemisphere? That can be explained on a flat Earth with the sun and the moon. There's explanations for that. So they can't cling to that anymore. What else? Sticks and shadows, right? Eratosthenes. Sticks and shadows, Eratosthenes. Well, did you know that even Neil deGrasse Tyson says that can work on a flat Earth as long as the sun is small and local? That's what flat earthers say. The sun is smaller and local. So they can't use that argument anymore, right? What else? Eclipses. They like to use eclipses. Well, you got somewhat of a problem with selenian eclipses, because that's when you have the moon and the sun on the horizon. You can see both of them, and yet an eclipse starts taking place. How does that work on a globe? You might find a bogus answer to that question, but I'm here to tell you that doesn't make any sense. Selenian eclipses disprove the heliocentric explanation of eclipses. Furthermore, solar eclipses, how they say that the moon is like over 1,000 miles radius or something like that for the moon. However big it is, 1,080 miles radius or something like that for the moon. Well, how does something that big only cast a 70-mile shadow? That doesn't add up, right? Furthermore, have we ever seen the moon approaching the sun during a solar eclipse to block the sun out? No one's ever seen that. No one's ever seen that. So you guys don't have explanations for any of those things. None of that stuff makes sense in a heliocentric model, right? So In other words, we completely dismantle all of these supposed proofs. The curvature, that's another thing they don't want to talk about. We've completely proved that there is no curvature. If there is, then we're living on a much, 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 much bigger Earth than what they tell us. Much, much, much bigger. So either way, they're hiding something, right? So we completely dismantled all of these supposed proofs, and they can't even they can't use these arguments anymore. So they've moved the goalpost down the road. They've kicked the can down the road, and they're clinging to the stars now. That's all that they can cling to, is the stars. And they got a lot of problems with the stars. A lot of problems with the stars. What else? What other proofs, right? We've covered, satellites, right? Well, satellites are up there, orbiting the Earth. What about the ISS and NASA and all that? Well, I mean, if you watched any of my other videos and if you looked into any of this for a day, you'll know what flat earthers say about all those things, right? So satellites are a complete hoax. And we can prove to you that satellites are on balloons. If you don't believe me, there's a channel. Actually, just look up Robert Bassano on YouTube. I think he's got a YouTube channel called Reflective. I might just have to leave a link. I can't remember the name of his YouTube channel. But if you just Google like satellites, Rob Bassano, he proves to you that all these satellites, even Hubble, all of them are on balloons. Mir, all of them, they're all on balloons. That's why NASA's the number one consumer of helium. They put all this stuff on balloons, man. We have proven that satellites are not up there orbiting at 17,500 miles an hour, which is ridiculous in itself. So they can't use that argument anymore, right? They've got no proof that the Earth is spinning. Zero proof. Matter of fact, there's 4 experiments that were done years ago that proved the opposite. You've got Michelson-Morley, you got Michelson-Gale, you got the Sagnac experiment, you got Aries failure. Look into all those. All those experiments proved that the Earth is not spinning, but the ether above us is. So they can't use any of these arguments anymore. And they're clinging to one thing because we don't have like an elevator pitch answer to the stars. I mean, they're pointing to the roof above them to cling to the shape of the floor that they're walking on. Think about that, because they've got nothing else. They've got nothing else. Flat Earth has way better answers for all of these things. There is no proof that we live on a globe. There are things that work on a globe and a flat Earth together, like, for instance, circumnavigation. Circumnavigation works on both a flat Earth and a globe Earth. To think about, like, how does a compass work? Compass only works on a plane. You have to, when you're using a compass, you have to keep it flat for it to work. And compasses don't even work in the southern where they consider the South Pole to be, right? The further south you go, the worse a compass is, because it's too far from the North Pole, the actual one pole that we have, or celestial pole, whatever, magnetic, whatever, right? In the southern, in the South Pole, where they consider the South Pole, all explorers pretty much have said that compasses mess up in the south because they're too far away from the North Pole. So compasses only work on a flat plane, right? So the way circumnavigation works is, if you want to travel east to west, you can on a flat Earth. Works the same on a globe. Where it's different is north to south circumnavigation. North to south circumnavigation. So you can only travel, if you lived on a ball, you can travel north-south, circumnavigate. You can circumnavigate north-south, but on a flat Earth, you can't. So if they want to try to debunk flat Earth, show us how we can circumnavigate north to south. You know, there's only been a couple of instances where they said that we have supposedly done that. But if you look into it and map it out on a flat Earth, all they've done is just circled around continents. They didn't circumnavigate all the way around. And furthermore, if we could circumnavigate from north to south, don't you think there would be literally millions of experiments and proof that we've done that? Just like you can easily prove that we circumnavigate east to west. Because we travel east to west, we circumnavigate east to west every day. So it should be the same for north to south. We should have plenty of evidence to prove that. But we don't. There's only been a couple of instances where they faked it. And you map it out on a flat Earth, and it's literally just a circle around the continents. That's not going around a globe. That's just circumnavigating your neighborhood. Makes sense? So, guys, we've completely smashed all their arguments, and they're clinging to one thing. What does that tell you? This is a religion to them. They have to have something to cling to. They have to. And that's their go-to argument. That and like, where's your model? And they don't realize that they don't have a model. Their model doesn't work. On the bottom of every globe at Walmart or anywhere you buy a globe, it says not for educational purposes. What does that tell you? It's not for educational purposes. That's what it tells you. So, but I digress. You know, if they have to cling to it, so be it. That's how I look at it, man. You'll come to it eventually. You'll come to it eventually. I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully this is helping somebody. If you're on the fence watching this video, I don't, you know, or if you want to laugh at everything I just said, that's fine. Just know that all your arguments have been dismantled, and we're just going to keep moving on. We're going to keep trucking on, and we're going to find answers to all the questions. Well, not all of them. Of course, not all of them. I think some things are just meant to not be found out. And that's just the way that it is. But we can all come to the conclusion that we don't live on a spinning ball. That's where we're at. We don't live on a spinning ball that's traveling 1.6 million miles a day, doing 66,000 miles an hour around the sun, traveling through an infinite vacuum of nothingness. This is absolutely absurd. But with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. God bless. Use that dipstick up there, that brain of yours, and think logically and rationally. Till then, see you guys later. Peace.